Good evening, students. Shall we start the session?
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay. Shall we start the session?
Okay, ma'am. No problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We can start.
Yes. I hope you are all are able to see and hear me clearly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes.
yes, thank you. As engineering students, you are preferring for careers where you will work with machines, construction sites, even electrical systems, laboratories, software field, whatever may be. But you know, one thing, the safety, it's not on optional. So it is critical. So today session is not just about learning safety rules. It is about understanding the difference between following safety because it is compulsory and practicing safety because it is personal and professional values. So, by the end of this session, you will clearly understand what is safety compliance means, what safety culture really represents, why future engineers like you play a crucial role in building a safe work environment. So, this topic is especially important in today's engineering world, so where technology advancing rapidly, even that human behavior still remain the major causes of accidents. So let us begin by understanding why safety should be more than just a checklist. So, and why mindset matter more than manuals. Why talk about safety? Because now let us understand why safety is such an important topic for engineers. Let us begin by understanding why safety deserve serious attention in engineering. First, the engineering always involving risk. Every branch of engineering, civil, mechanical, electrical, chemical, computer science, even electronics, so has its own set of hazards. For example, the civil engineers work with height, heavy load, and constructions equipments. The mechanical engineers deals with it's a machinery and high temperatures. Then electrical engineers face the risk of shocks, short circuits and fire. Then chemical and lab based engineers work with hazards substances. So even the software engineers also the design system that control the machines, even the transport and medical equipments where failure can cost lives. So the risk is not exception in engineering, it is the part of everyday work, right? So now let us come to the second point, the accident or preventable. This is very important. Most people think accidents are unavoidable, but in reality the most accidents happen due to ignoring the safety protocols, even overconfident or lack of awareness, even poor communications, taking the shortcuts to save time. So the many accident investigations conclude with one common statement. We have said that this could have been prevented. So simple actions like wearing their proper, it's prevented equipments, even checking the equipment before use, or stopping work when something feels unsafe can save the lives. So, third most important point is that safety is a professional responsibility. So, as a future engineers, your role goes beyond completing the task or meeting the deadlines you are expected to protect the human lives, ensure the safe designs and process. Even it's a speak up when something is unsafe. So the safety is not only the job of safety officers or supervisors. If the engineers notice a risk and chooses to ignore it, so that decisions itself become a safety failure. Then if you say some real life example, the industrial machine accident in a manufacturing plant, a worker was operating a cutting machine. The safety guard was provided by the company, but it slowed down the work slightly. To save time and increase the output, the operators remove the safeguard product. So during the regular working hours, it's happened regularly, right? So the one day during the operations, the machines malfunctioned. So the operator's hand came in that in the contact with the moving blade, so the resulting in serious injury and permanent disability. So this is very common real life situations in the industries. So here the safety rule existed, but the safety guard was available. So technically safety compliance was already in place, but the problem was in the mindset. So the operator choose speed over safety. So no supervisor also watching at the moment. So the safety rule was ignored. So this shows a lack of safety culture, right? So now ask yourself, was this accident unavoidable? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. It could.
Because is the safety, right? If the safety guard has been used, the injury would not have happened, right? So the example clearly shows that the engineers involving risk, accident or preventable, safety is a shared responsibility. So the safety compliance, it's provided the rule, but the options of its absence of safety cultures caused the accident. So the rules were present, but safety culture was missing here. So when we talk about safety, we are talking about your role as a responsible professional, not just about the rules or penalties. Then safety compliance. Now, let us understand the concept of safety compliance. It simply means it's following the safety rules, regulations, and procedures that are officially prescribed. So, these rules are usually created by government, regulatory bodies, or even the organization to control the risk in engineering field or engineering environment. For example, wearing a helmet on a construction site, using insulted insulated gloves, or while handling the electrical equipments, or following their laboratory safety protocols, are all forms of safety compliance. So the key point is here, the safety compliance is mandatory, it is not optional. So the engineers and workers must follow these rules because the law or company policy demands it. In non-compliance can result in warning, fines, even suspension, or even that legal actions. But another important aspect is that safety compliance is often driven by inspections and audit. So the people tend to strictly follow the rules because when a safety officer is present and external audit is happens, then senior management is visiting. So once the inspection is over, the same level of discipline may not continue. This leads to the final points, fear of penalties. So the many people comply when uh, the safety rules mainly because they are afraid of punishment rather than because they truly believe in the importance of safety. So the safety compliance ensure that minimum safety standards are met, but it does not guarantee that people will act safely all the time. So it focused on obeying the rules rather than owning their responsibility. So this is why the safety compliance is necessary but not sufficient for preventing accident. So the safety compliance tells you what you must do. It does not ensure what you will do when no one is watching. Then safety culture refers to the shared values, attitudes, beliefs, and behavior. It's related to safety within organization or a team. So it's about how the people think and act towards safety when there is no supervision. So, in a strong safety culture, safety is not treated as an extra task or a formality. So, instead, it become a natural part of everyday work. So the people do not ask, do I have to follow these rules? So they ask, is this safety way to do this job? So unlike the safety compliance, the safety culture is not driven by fear of penalties. It is driven, that uh, it is personal responsibility and concern for human lives. So the employees follow safety practice because that it's yes. So it's that it's employee follow safety practice because they genuinely believe that safety matters to themselves, to their colleagues, and to the organizations. For example, in a workplace with good safety culture, the workers wear the personal prevent equipments. We can say it's called as PPE, right? So even when no supervisor is present, then the employees report near miss incident without fear of blame. So the team members stop unsafe work and warn each other. So the safety culture also encourage the open communication. The people feel comfortable speaking up something looks unsafe, even if the person involved is a senior engineer or supervisor. So for engineers, safety culture is extremely important because the engineers design system, process, and workplaces. So if safety is not embedded in your thinking at the design stage, so number of rules can fully prevent the accident later. So remember, safe culture, the safety culture is not it's written in manual, but it is reflected in daily behavior. It is what the people do when no one is watching. So safety culture uh, is not about the rules, it is about mindset. Previously I told that, right? It is about our mindset. Then safety compliance versus safety culture. Now that clearly understand both safety compliance and safety culture individually, let us compare them. So safety compliance is mainly about rules. It tells about what they must do to meet the legal or organizational requirement. It is usually enforced from the top by management, officers, regulators. But people follow safety rules mainly to avoid punishment, fine, or disciplinary action. In contrast, safety culture is about values. It's influence how people behave naturally towards safety. Instead of being enforced, it is internalized. It's a people act safety because they genuinely care about their own safety and the safety of others. So the another major difference is the approaches. Safety compliance is often reactive. Rules are tightened after an accident happens. Safety culture is proactive. The risks are identified and corrected before an accident occurs. So the compliance ensure minimum safety standards are met, but the cultures goes beyond the minimum and aim of zero harm. So, in many organizations, the accident still happen even though all safety rules exist. But this is because compliance alone cannot control the human behavior. Only a strong safety culture can do that. So, for engineers, this difference is crucial. So, as a future engineers like you, will not only follow these safety rules, you will also influence how the others behave. Your attitude towards will save the culture of your team. So the compliance prevent violations, the culture prevents the accident. Are you got it? Yes. Now I'm just giving some examples in field wise. So these concept it's directly to real engineering situations, so you can clearly see how safety compliance and safety cultures appears in real life. Example, in mechanical or manufacturing engineers, in a manufacturing unit, the machines usually come with safety guard, emerging stop buttons, and operating procedures. So here the safety compliance is when on operators use the machines exactly as instructed, only when supervisor are around or during audit. But here the safety culture is When the operator refused to operate the machine if the safety guard is missing, or even if production targets are high. So the many serious injuries in factories occurred, especially for manufacturing unit, when the safety guards are removed to increase the speed. The rule existed, but the culture was missing. If you take that civil or construction engineering field, the construction site safety rules clearly state that workers must wear the helmet, safety harness, and reflective jackets also. But the compliance here, wearing a helmet only during the inspections, but the culture means refuse to it's climb scaffolding without a safety harness, so even if it is delays work. So a strong safety culture also means the engineers ensure that safety nets, it's warning signs are installed before work begins. So not after an accident occurs. In electrical engineering field, it's deal with high voltage system, various signal mistake can or be fatal. So the safety compliance is switching off power because the rule says so. But if safety culture is double checking isolations, testing for live current, and using the installed tools even when under time pressure. So the many electrical accidents, that happen due to assumption like it should be switched off. So the safety culture replaced the assumption with verifications. Then chemical or laboratory engineering field, the laboratory safety rules are clearly displayed in most institutions, but the compliance is it's wearing the lab coat and it's goggles or during the faculty supervisions. But the culture is it's maintaining lab discipline at all times. It's labeling the chemical correctly and reported spills immediately. So in labs or small negligence can lead to fires. So the toxic exposure or explosions. So the safety culture ensure it's a caution even during the routine experiments. Then if you take softwares and system engineering field, the software engineers have safety responsibilities. Even the compliance is writing code according to standards. But the culture is thoroughly testing safety critical software used in medical devices, automobiles, or industrial automations. A small coding errors in safety systems can cause real world accidents. The safety culture ensure the engineers prioritized its safety over deadlines. So in every engineering field, rules already exist. If you take mechanical field, electrical field, even electronics, chemical or water, chemical field, whatever may be, the rules already exist. But the accident occurs not because the rules are missing, but because safety thinking is missing. So as future engineers, your technical knowledge will design system, but your safety mindset will protect lives. Then I'm just giving here for uh, classroom analogy, compliance versus culture. So here I'm just let me explain the difference between safety compliance and safety culture. using a classroom's example that all of you can easily relate to. So think about how many students study only to clear exams. In such cases, the focus is mainly on memorizing the answer, solving the previous year question papers, or finding the shortcuts to score marks. So the the goal is not deep understanding. The goal is simply to pass, right? So once the exam is over, what usually happens? So most of the information is forgotten. It's within a day or weeks. So the learning was temporarily and driven by pressures, marks, deadlines, or fear of failures, right? You know very well. I hope that how many students here at present today, 35 participants are here. How many out of 35, how many students really to eagerly to attend the classes or to watch the classes to learn everything? Because the many of them, we are, I'm not saying like you, because all 35s are very good, I know that, because the good positive feedbacks getting from Eduwing of Adira. So I'm saying that, I'm not saying like you, but I'm saying that other classes, okay. So many of the students only for attending for the attendance purpose, okay. Once the attendance is over, they leave the sessions, okay. Because the chat box also, 10 minutes before I received one message, can you please share that material of PDF in your PPT? Yeah, I'm saying that yes also, because they are not ready to listen the classes, but only the thinking is to clear that examination, so they need for material, right? So this approach is very similar to safety compliance in engineering workplace. So the people follow safety rules not because they truly believe in them, but because an inspection is coming, a supervisor is watching. So there is fear of penalties or disciplinary actions. So the behavior exists only under supervisions, just like exam oriented study. So now let us think about learning for life. So when you genuinely understand a subject, say, it's a machine, circuits, or programming, you don't need to memorize blindly. You can apply that knowledge in different situations even year later. So the learning becomes the part of your thinking process. So this is exactly how safety culture works. So the safety is no longer something you are forced to do. So it's become a habit, mindset, and a natural part of how you work. So you automatically think about the risk, precautions, and consequences before taking actions. So in real engineering practice, there will be no exam hall and no invigilator. So it's standing next to you. So no one will remind you every minute to follow the safety rules, regulations, etc. So you will be making independent decisions, so often under pressures. It's tied the deadlines or challenging conditions. So at this point your mindset is matter more than the rules. So if safety culture is strong, you will act safely even when no one is watching. So it is weak, the rules will be ignored the motive the moment supervision disappears. So this is why safety cultures like truly learning stay with you for life. So it protect not just your grade or job, but your life and the lives of others. So the rules can be memorized, but the mindset must be developed. So next, I'm just giving two to three lifetime examples. What happened in that previous, how that safety compliance and safety culture helped that learning from that case studies. Everything we just let's took at one of the most tragic industrial accident in the history. So the Bhopal, gas tragedy of 1984. This example, it's vividly illustrate the difference between safety compliance and safety culture. So what happened? A pesticide plant in Bhopal, India, it's released that toxic gas into the surrounding city. The thousands of people died immediately, and hundred of thousands suffered injuries, including long-term health effects. So this the scale of this disaster makes it one of the deadliest, the industrial accident in the world. So now why did this happen? Because the safety compliance failure. On paper the plant had, its standard operating procedure, we can call it as SOP, standard operating procedures and safety protocols in place. So the equipment was supposed to be regularly maintained, alarms and safety walls installed, and emergency response plans documented. These measures represent the safety compliance, even though the following rules and procedures because they are mandated. So the lack of safety culture. Despite these rules, in practice, many safety procedures were ignored or inadequately implemented. So the critical system were turned off or poorly maintained to save cost, and it's reduced the time downtime. So the workers and management did not fully internalize the responsibility for human lives. So they treated safety as a formality rather than a mindset. So there was a proactive attitude to identify and fix the risk before disaster struck. So what we have learned for engineers from these cases, because that compliance alone is insufficient. So a company may have all the rules documented, but if people do not truly care about the safety, accident can still happen. So the safety culture is about it's internalizing responsibility, being proactive, and it's valuing human lives and shortcuts or cost savings. So in real engineering practice, ignoring safety culture even when rules exist, so can have its catastrophic consequences also. So when the design system, operating equipment, or manage the project, always ask yourself, I am doing this because I have to follow your rules, or because it is the safe and right things to do. So this mindset is safety culture. So is this safety culture is what separately professional engineers from rule followers. So the compliance may prevent the violations, but only the culture can prevent the disasters. So the next case is Rana Plaza collapse. It's Bangladesh in 2013. This is also it's relevant to the civil and the structured engineering field cases. Uh, those who are having here for civil engineer, definitely you know very well about their this cases, because you know that it's a very another tragic in real world example, the Rana Plaza collapse, which highlighted the critical importance of safety culture in civil and structural engineering. So what happened? Because the Rana Plaza was on 8-story building, it's housing multiple garments factories and shops. On April 24th, 2020, 2013, the building collapsed, killing more than 1,100 workers and injuring thousands plus. So before the collapse, the visible cracks had appeared in the structure. Many workers and local people noticed the damage, but the factories continued operating. So the analyzing the situation from the safety perspective, the safety compliance failure. So the building inspections and compliance checks existed on paper, but not in real. So the structural safety rules and local regulations were in place. So, however, these checks were either ignored, adequately enforced, or bypassed. So the management continued operations to meet production deadlines, demonstrating compliance in paperwork only, not in the real practice. So the lack of safety culture also. So the disaster was not caused merely by poor compliance. So it was primarily a failure of safety culture. So the workers' safety was constantly deprioritized in favor of production targets. Employee were not empowered to voice concern, and management did not act its responsibility even when risks were obvious. So there was no proactive mindset to prevent the catastrophe. So the key lesson for engineers here, the safety compliance is not enough. So the rules alone cannot be prevent the accident. So if the people do not take responsibility for safety, so a strong safety culture would have it stopped work when crackers were observed. So ensured risk reporting and emergency evacuations plans. Then valued human lives over production pressure. So, for civil and structured engineers, this teaches a critical principle. Even if structures are compliant, if the culture does not prioritize safety, failures will happen. So, just imagine you are responsible for designing or inspecting such a building. Would you prioritize the deadlines over safety? The safety culture ensure you it's always make the safety choice, not just the legal record choice. So the compliance may check boxes, safety cultures save the lives, right? Then let's discuss a recent industrial accident. the Telangana. I hope that the last June 2025 it was happened. Chemical factory explosion in June 2025. What happened? The chemical plant, Sankradi exploded. It's resulting in it's dozens of death and many injuries. So investigations revealed that the workers had repeatedly raised concern about outdated and unsafe equipments, but the management ignored them. So the plant was lacked adequate safety systems, including fire alarms and heat sensor. So analyzing from a safety perspective, the safety compliance, the plant had written procedures, safety rules, and manuals. So the workers had tried to follow protocols and raises issues. So on paper, compliance existed. So here the safety culture is, in practice, these rules were not actively implemented. Okay, the rules were not actively implemented. So the management did not prioritize the safety over the cost or production deadlines. So the warning from employees were ignored. It's showing a lack of safety mindsets. So the lessons for engineers here, especially chemical engineers, this example clearly shows that rules alone not enough, but the compliance ensure the minimum standards are documented, but the safety culture ensure the rules are followed. So the risks are identified and lives are, it's protected. So as a future chemical engineers, you must develop the mindset that proactively value safety, not just follow the procedures when mentioned. This example not only for chemical engineers, it's always just taking their example of other field engineers also. Then, as we conclude the today's sessions, let's summarize the key lessons from all the examples and discussions. First one is safety compliance. The compliance ensure that the minimum rules, procedures, and legal requirements are followed. So it is driven by inspections, audit, and sometimes fear of penalties. While compliance is essential, it's only guarantees that rules are on paper, not that people will act safely all the time. The second, safety culture. The safety cultures goes beyond compliance. It is about value, attitudes, and behaviors towards safety that become the second nature. So it is proactive rather than reactive. So the people anticipate the risk, the report hazards, and act safely even when no one is watching. So the strong safety culture is what truly prevents accident, protect the lives, and ensure long-term safety in engineering environment. Final thought is, all the real world examples were discussed from Popal and Rana Plaza. Yes, because the rules may exist, but without a culture of safety, disaster happens. So, as a future engineers, your mindset, vigilance, it's especially commitment, the safety culture will define not just your success, but the well-being of everyone your work impact. So the compliance avoid the punishments, but the safety culture prevent the accident. So encourage the students to hear the reflection is, in your future engineering work, how will you contribute to building a safety culture rather than just following the rules? Please, this is the time for open question forum. Please, are you got it? I hope that everyone should understand what is safety compliance and what is safety culture, right?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes,
To
yes,
ask
yes, ma'am. We
any
understand.
questions, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Vishnu,
So,
please.
I understood that the safety regarding for what are the main legal and ethical principle to drive the safety compliances?
Yes, actually, it's a very good question. The start safety compliance. Lot of even our Factories Act 1948 very clearly given all the rules and regulations. If violated that rules, what is the punishment and what is the compliance the against we will be posted, all the things we having their Factories Act. It's ensuring their safety compliance. If you take that occupational health and safety, if you call say that association, if you call say that OSHA, it is a US based association, that is also it's globally, it's given their compliance safety compliance procedures, all the SOPs, how every field how we can follow the SOPs. If violated, even in India na 5 to 5,000 to 5 lakh rupees punishment will be happen in that much of accident. Even not only in the financial payment, I mean punishment, even if you having their major punishment of 337 session, 339 sessions also having their prisonable punishment is happening. Not only for government side, even lot of NGOs, lot of association also continuously they are forcing their safety compliance. But everything after accident na, even I told na, that's a Telangana incident, it was happening June. At that time, after that, all the Telangana government strictly to influence that open communication forum. Yes, every week, the seventh day, that grievance cell boxes want to be open, that much of things the government is taken place. But everything after happened the accident. What about previously? Because that in Telangana incident, many of the trade unions, even many of the workers also voluntarily go and approach the management regarding their inadequacy of equipments, everything, but the management not ready to listen at all. So that once the accident is happened, now the government is taking place their important things, that is the thing. But that's why we are saying that don't bother about their safety compliance. Please, just to be ensure all the people for ensuring the safety culture. Because the safety culture, day one itself we want to be ensured, right? As a engineer, for example, as a teacher, we having, I'm having some responsibility is there, right? I'm having some accountability is there. Good things I want to be teach along with this subject to the students. Some ethics I want to be teach to the students apart from that subject. The same thing the engineering people having their responsibility, not only to follow their rules SOP for about you. You are also, I mean, not only to learn about everything, to follow everything, you, I mean, you are itself, even you want to be teach them for your subordinates. Another thing is, if you want, you fight with your superior also. That is the thing. You find the solution. Suppose that we just in Rana Plaza 2013, that incident also it's happened. Many public people are aware about their abruptly to see their crackers in that building, right? So in that engineer's responsibility, at least they want to be file the complaints with government. Maybe it's I'm not sure, I'm telling that maybe it was happened, but the government side also having some lethargical or whatever maybe. But but our concern is, as here I'm having their responsibility, I want to protect our workers. So I just to be taken that steps. It's happen or not, that is secondary way. So at least we don't have any guilty feeling, right? So as a engineers, we are expected, this is not your duty, this is your responsibility. Yes, Vishnu, got it?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Any other questions? Lot of students are there. Akil,
Hi,
Ashwin,
ma'am. Good evening.
Rishika. Yes, Charles.
Yeah, ma'am. When we are talking about safety culture, it's not only about the people, the perception, and the values, the views of the workers. Also, money. Money is a critical factor when it comes to safety culture, because as we all know, implementing health and safety is not cheap. For me, in my own opinion, so far as my experience so far in the field, when it comes to promoting a positive health and safety culture in the workplace, financial reason is, is the top tier.
Charles,
Yes.
I agree that your point, but the thing is to compare the human lives, right? The money,
Yeah,
it's not a matter, right? Another thing is how we can compare the money in the equivalent of risk of the human lives. You just to think that, that's why we are saying that safety culture, how we can teach the workers about the culture, right? So in the time of induction program, yes, to clearly to communicate, to spend 2 to 3 days to clearly every workers, you know, that JD training, the job description training before any promotions, or if you just newly joined people, definitely we are explaining their JD, what is the skill required. Yes, we are explaining all the things, how in that training areas we can explain, right? For example, one person's working in the civil construction area, in that person's role is supervisor. Okay, in that supervisor role, we just to be explained, we are giving initially giving their training to the particular post. Yes or no? So the
yeah, yeah.
training need the cost, right? So we are giving their training, what skills you have needed, then how we can handle that particular job, what is what is their do's and don'ts, everything we just to be explained. In that meanwhile, we just to be explain their safety culture. So what is the cost is behind for this? Tell me, because training is cost. Training we need, we giving their training, definitely it's need cost, right? So in that meanwhile, we just to giving their particular part of training, we just to be incultivate that safety culture, right? Another thing is that accident, everything it's happen, it's not only for the for example, it's one accident is happen, one person's hands or disabilities, the permanent disabilities, that is not only for the particular worker's life. yes, automatically our industries, our company brand names also diluted. So compare the brand names, compare the human values. So the money, it's compare that it is not a very much cost. I feel like that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
The-
Another
yeah,
thing is safety culture. It's not taking much time of Mose. We want to included any tools or software, anything. Just we are teach them, just we are incultivate the habit to the workers or to the particular people. That's it. So during this training part, we just give them. Thank you.
okay,
Very good questions,
yes.
Charles. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Hamid, any other people? No? Okay. Fine. You don't have any questions? Please leave the sessions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good
Hello, ma'am.
Thank you.